Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's video, I'm going to be using a new palette in my collection from a brand that I have never tried before. And this is a brand that I've always wanted to try, but I don't know, for some reason, well, it's because I'm cheap. One of my amazing subscribers and dear friends, Taramisu, she recommended this brand to me. She's got several of their products and she just loves this brand. So this video is going to be dedicated to her, to Taramisu. Now, what brand is it? Well, it's Sydney Grace. And what palette is it? It's the Tiny Marvels palette. Yes. Now, I did not think this was going to be available, and I was only going to get this palette. I thought, okay, I'm going to go onto the website, check out the sale, of course. But if they don't have this palette, I probably won't get anything. I was so thrilled they had this. Now, this was done in collaboration with Mel Thompson, who passed away, I think, a little over a year ago. And I was such a huge fan of Mel's. I don't know why I didn't pick this palette up when it first became available, because I just love her and I watched her for a really long time. She always made me feel so special when I would comment on her videos. Like, she always took the time out to comment back to me, and I just thought that was so amazing. She was so beautiful, so talented, and very missed on this platform, very missed. So when I went on the website and I saw this was still available, I went crazy. Of course, I picked this up, and I did get another palette. If you spent a certain amount of money, which I can't remember how much it was, you got to pick from another palette, and I cannot remember the name of the palette, but I did get that, and I sent that to another one of my subscribers. Her name is Michelle. She is a very dear friend to me. She's also a neutral lover, so I knew that, well, I hope that she would love that palette, and so far I believe she's loving that palette. And I did get a couple other things from Sydney Grace. I'm not going to share that with you in this video today, but I will be using those probably sometime next week. And I just think this is such a gorgeous color story, just beautiful. I definitely want to use this shade here called Scarab. It's this beautiful kind of duochrome shimmer, kind of, I don't know, green to brown. Oh, it's beautiful. And then this one here called Fire Butts. I've always wanted to try that shade ever since I saw Mel use it on her channel and other creators use the shade on their channels. I was like, oh, and then I think I'm going to use just maybe some browns and definitely this green here too called Mantis. Ooh. I just think this is a really fun color story for autumn or fall. You can use palettes whenever you want throughout the year. I don't usually base my looks on the seasons, but I do think this is a beautiful fall color story, and I'm really excited to play with this today. So if you are ready to see what look I'm going to create with the Tiny Marvels palette from Sydney Grace in my dedication video to my wonderful subscriber and friend Taramisu, then please sit back, relax, and let's get started. All right, let's get started with this look using the Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette. I'm so excited. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, I just love Mel Thompson so much, and I just miss her so much. She was such an amazing part of this platform and, taken way too soon. So I have done my brows already, and I have primed this eyelid in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumor 01. So I really do want to use these two shades here, of course, on my lid. And then I also want to use Mantis, and then I think I'm going to use, I don't know, one of these two shades down here. So let's start off with Mantis here, this kind of a sage green matte. I'm going to put that in my transition area. And it was kind of weird when I got this palette and a couple other things that I ordered from this brand. I got a notification from the brand saying that they had basically, like, the box was waiting to be shipped, that it was just kind of sitting there waiting for a shipping label. And I don't know, maybe a week passed, and I looked again and it still said the same thing. And I thought, what the heck's going on here? Because that usually doesn't happen. You get the notification that it's getting ready to be shipped and then it ships, but it just wasn't shipping. And I was like, well, that's really bizarre. So then almost 2 weeks passed and it was still just sitting there waiting to be shipped. I'm like, there's something going on here. So I emailed the brand and I said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but my package is just not shipping. I don't get it. And the woman that I was emailing with said, yeah, that's really weird. She's like, let me look into it and I'll get back to you. So I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days passed and she got back in touch with me and she said, yeah, we have no idea what happened. So she said, we're just going to go ahead and send you the package again. And we're going to give you a $10 in-store credit, which I thought was really cool, just kind of, for having to wait. So I've had this now for a couple of weeks and I've just been chomping at the bit to play with it. So I'm really happy that I finally had some time to sit down and use this palette because it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful sage green matte. I love it. I do think it's kind of like a buildable shade, which is fine with me because I love buildable shades. Sometimes super pigmented shades make me a little sweaty. Now I'm going to go into this shade here called Spider. It's kind of a darker brown matte. I'm going to put that in my outer V and maybe into my transition area just a little bit. So Labor Day was Monday of this week, and my husband and I didn't have to work. I think most people don't have to work on Labor Day. So we went to the coast on Sunday and spent the night in this little inn. Not the greatest inn that I've ever stayed in my life, but really it was kind of our fault because we weren't really planning on going. But I kind of had a little bit of like a stress meltdown, and my husband's like, let's get the heck out of town. Okay, let's just get out of here. So we just drove over to a little town called Florence, which is about 45 minutes away from where I live. It's just this little coastal town, kind of cute, just, you know, kind of quaint little town, which is kind of weird because there was a lot more to do there. Not a ton, but there was more things there, more businesses there the last time I went. But I haven't been over there, I don't think, since before COVID. I'm positive I haven't. And, you know, COVID kind of did some damage to some smaller towns around here, that's for sure. But still, it was really nice. And we went down to the beach and, you know, put our feet in the water. It was wonderful. And then the day that we went home on Labor Day. We just stayed one night there. We stopped at a place called the Heceta Head Lighthouse. And I'm going to pop some pictures up of the Heceta Head Lighthouse so you guys can see it. It's beautiful and really a cool place. And then you kind of like walk up this kind of steep hill, not too steep. But you get up to the lighthouse and then you can kind of look out over the ocean and it's just beautiful. So very good for me to do that. Kind of cleared my head and just kind of, you know, brought me back to reality of the fact that, like, you know, even though things are stressful, things are going to be okay. And I really like that mat. That is gorgeous. But I do want to go back with just a little bit of the mantis shade, and I'm just going to kind of blend that out just a little bit because it's, you know, looking a little harsh there. That is a nice dark brown mat. So now I'm going to go into the shade here called Scarab. This beautiful, it's kind of like a, I don't know, brown to green flip. It's just amazing. I love it. Can you guys see that? Right there. Hi, you can see my face. This is kind of a flakier shimmer maybe a little bit. So I'm going to spray this and put that towards the latter half of the lid here. And oh my God, yeah, I knew I was going to love this shade. Wow. Oh, that is gorgeous. See, it goes to brown and then to green. Ooh, yeah, I love it. I love it. Amazing. I'm so glad that Taramisu recommended that I check into this brand. I've had a few people recommend it, but not for a while. And we just love to chat in the comment section together. I just adore her. She's an amazing subscriber and I consider a very dear friend. And she just said, you know, I really recommend it if you're wanting to try a new brand. I think Sydney Grace is the one for you. And so, yeah, I'm so happy that I did check out that sale. I mean, I've known about that sale before, but I don't know. I just kind of forget about things until like they've come and gone. And I'm like, why didn't I take advantage of that? So to finally be able to do so was pretty amazing. So I owe her a lot. Thank you, my dear. Okay, so I cleaned my brush off a little bit. And now I'm going to go into this shade here called Fire Buds. It's so cute. I was going to go into BB, but I don't know. I've always wanted to try Fire Buds. I've seen people use it on their channels. And I'm just like, oh, it's kind of like a, I don't know, goldish shade, but it's kind of got a little bit of like a light green cast to it too. It's really cool. I'm going to put that towards the front here. And this might look kind of similar to my look that I did with the butterfly, the Amore Mariposas palette from Melt that Andy sent me, which I'm not trying to be like, you know, repetitive, but I don't know. Those are just the shades that jumped out to me in this palette. So I thought, I've got to use them. I've got to use them. And who does not want to use a shade called Fire Buds? I mean, come on. That is the cutest thing ever. And yeah, those shimmers look beautiful together. I love them. Oh, that is so amazing. So now I'm going to do my lower lash line with you guys. I did put a little bit of concealer down here. And in my waterline, I'm going to use the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade Gold Plated, which I have used a billion times on my channel. I need to get some more waterline liners. I mean, do I really need to get some more? I just want some more so I can try some different brands. But I don't know. I just am kind of like, if something works, I just stick with it, you know? And this works really well in the waterline. Okay, let me grab my palette again. And now I'm going to go into this shade called Mantis and put that across the lower lash line. Yeah, my husband just kind of knew that I was needing to get out of town. You know, he can sense when I'm getting a little stressed out about life. And he's like, honey, let's just get out of here for a while. You know, there's some stuff going on with my dad and it's kind of hard for me to just, you know, walk away from things, you know, but it's always good for me to kind of like be able to go and kind of like clear my head and just, I don't know, just kind of decompress and unwind. And it was just really nice. The ocean always does that for me. Our room that we had did not have air conditioning, and both my husband and I were like, oh my God, we're gonna like sweat to death all night, but we didn't, because it was cooler over there, of course. We just left the windows open and then like turned the ceiling fan on. It was fine. And we've kind of been lied to here because we were told by the weathermen that the weather was gonna start cooling off here, and it's gonna be like in the 90s, I think 2 or 3 days this week. I'm like, come on. Enough. Let's get to fall, shall we? Okay, I do though want to deepen that up a little bit. So let me grab my little brush here, and I'm going to go back into Spider. You know, I could have done a lot of other things with this palette. Maybe I'll use this palette again because I feel like I am totally recreating the look that I made with the Amore Mariposas palette, which I wasn't trying to do necessarily at all. But I don't know, man. I've just been really into like greens. You know, I love greens, my favorite eyeshadow color. But I don't know. That's just, when I open that palette up, I'm like, I'm using the green and I'm using the brown. And I just, you know, had to use the 2 shimmer shades, the Scarab and the Fire Butts. I don't know, you guys. Just what happened to me. Kind of took control of my life. Now I do want to use a different shimmer for my inner corner shade. And that's this shade right here called Web. It's this beautiful, I don't even know what to expect with this because it looks very kind of like, I don't know, whitish, creamish in the pan. I have a feeling it's not going to look like that on the lid. I think it's going to blow my socks off. And you know what? I think I might pop this a little bit under my brow too. Oh yeah. That is beautiful. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like a cream colored shimmer. I guess it's really not that deceiving. Basically true to pan. So that's kind of cool, you know? I mean, I like it when they do kind of surprise you, you know, when you're like that Gourmand Girls palette. When I put that inner corner shade down, it was like, I thought it was going to be like, what, white with like a little bit of pink in it. And it was like totally iridescent, bluey, pinky, woo. I was like, oh my gosh. This is more true to pan, but I do like that. It's very bright and very vibrant and beautiful for an inner corner shade. And the thing that I love about the shimmers in this palette is they're that really thick, buttery, opaque texture, you know, that I just love. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of this right under my brow. It's right there. Oh yeah, that is so pretty. Oh, that is gorgeous. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my eye look, you guys. That's pretty easy. I mean, the shade just went on beautifully, blended out beautifully, meshed well together. I'm so happy. So I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna do my other eye, put the rest of my face on. I'll be right back to show you how everything came together. I am back and this is the finished look, and I love how this look turned out. However, it's very similar to the look that I did with the Melt Cosmetics Amore Mariposas palette that Andy sent me. And that was not my intention, I promise. But when I opened up the Tiny Marvels palette, my eyes just automatically went to the green shades. I just had to use them today. Now, I wasn't going to give this away, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I did get some liquid shadows from Sydney Grace. They're kind of like duochrome, multi-chrome shades, which I will be filming with next week. And I will pull this palette out again to use some of the mattes, different mattes. So I will be creating a different look with this palette. I promise you guys that. And before I talk about the palette again, of course, I did want to go over a few things I used in my finished look today. On my lips, I have the Ades New York high definition liquid lipstick. And to me, this really isn't like a true liquid lipstick because, you know, those can be kind of drying. This is more like a lip gloss. I've always referred to this as a lip gloss, and I don't know what the shade is because, of course, it fell off. Got this in a BoxyCharm. I really enjoy using this. I just wanted to go with kind of a more neutral lip color today. Well, that's really the only reason why I chose it. Plus, I just really like the formula. It's really nice. And then on my upper lid, I lined it with the Maybelline New York Unstoppable Retractable Eyeliner in the shade Onyx. I just kind of put a little bit of this towards the outer part of the lid and just kind of smushed it around with a brush. I really like how this works. It's very affordable, and I don't know, I'm just trying to give the Ciate Linen Fierce Flicks eyeliner a break, so this just got chosen today. And then for my mascara, I used the Gosh Cosmetics Catchy Eyes Mascara in black that Pia, Makeup by Pia W, sent to me from Denmark. I now have 2 tubes of this. Oh yes. I just think this is a gorgeous mascara. It's lengthening, it's thickening, really nice wand, great formula. I just love using it. So now let's talk about the palette again. This is the Tiny Marvels palette that Mel Thompson did with Sydney Grace. And it's just really nice to have a little piece of Mel in my collection. She was one of my favorite creators and I just miss her so much. So this is very special to me. Oh, and of course the outer packaging has a butterfly on it, which you guys know reminds me of my mom. So it's kind of got a couple different special reasons to be in my collection. Okay, so the shades that I used this here called Mantis in my transition area and on my lower lash line. I used Spider in my outer V on my lower lash line. I used these 2 shimmers here, Fire Butts and Scarab. Oh, those are gorgeous. I really think that out of the shades that I used, I only used 5, but these 2 are my absolute favorite. That thick, buttery, beautiful texture of shimmers that I just love. I mean, Sydney Grace, their shimmers are amazing. The mattes were really good too. They blended out nicely, pigmented, beautiful, but I really do think that these 2 shades here are my favorite. I haven't used all of them yet, but I'm telling you, this one right here, Scarab, it's got that kind of flip to green to brown. Ugh, I love it. And then this shade I used called Web in my inner corner and under my brow. And it's beautiful. It's very vibrant, perfect shade for the inner corner, but I was kind of hoping that maybe it would have a little bit of flip to it, and it doesn't really, which, you know, that's fine. That's fine. I just kind of got spoiled with the Gourmand Girls palette that I used, the Saint Lamour palette, because that had a shade kind of similar to this, but it was super flippy when you put it on the lid. Kind of went from pink to blue to purple. Okay, stop. It was so beautiful, so it kind of spoiled me a little bit. But honestly, I think this is a gorgeous palette. I'm so happy that Taramisu reminded me of this sale and recommended this brand to me, because I've wanted to try it for a really long time, but you guys know I'm cheap. And honestly, there is something to be said for spending a little bit more money to get a better quality palette. I mean, yes, I have some great quality palettes that are very affordable, you know, drugstore price range, but this is truly a special palette. I mean, it's gorgeous, and I cannot wait to use this again. I will be using this again next week. I can't wait. I would love to know if you guys have this palette and what your favorite shades are out of the palette. I love it. It's beautiful. I cannot wait to get it out and use it again next week with those multi-chrome liquid shadows and create, hopefully, a very different look than what I've done so far on my channel. I cannot believe I repeated a look, but you know, it is a little bit different. I don't think it's quite as green as the look that I created with the Melt Cosmetics palette. I don't know, maybe I'm deluding myself. I would love to know what you guys think of this look. Let me know in the comment section. And I also want to say a huge heartfelt thank you to my dear subscriber and friend, Taramisu, for reminding me of this sale and for recommending this brand to me. I cannot wait to use this palette again. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed or you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you very soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.
Drop it.